He-Man versus Supergirl. A tale of two trailers. So, I don't know, last week around, both had, I think the same day, I think their final trailers or what have you for their upcoming films for Masters of the Universe and Supergirl. And I was a little struck. There's some similarities in, and you see this a lot with CGI and I suppose to an increasing extent AI and what have you. But in the presentation, it's what's often referred to as muddy. And one of the given explanations was that the bandwidth required for a certain amount of color is too much. So if you can reduce that to a bit. So maybe that's the deal, but you do see it an awful lot. Primarily with films of a fantastic genre, superheroes, science fiction, that sort of thing. And so you had some similar amount of that type of thing. And both of them did, but out of the two, both somewhat hindered by that, perhaps. And yet, in my opinion, one did better than the other. So that's the deal. I'll take a look at that for this, and we'll start with Supergirl. So there's been rumors of quite a few screen tests. How much of it is real or not? Most people refer to them as negative. It seems like they were mixed overall. There were some positives for Supergirl. A lot of people said that, at least from these reports, that Millie Alcock does a good job playing Supergirl and that sort of thing. But apparently weren't too happy with the results, so they did some reshoots and added in stuff. I think it's been some time ago, and it's been reported that they wanted more Lobo. Need more Lobo. And did that, but also more Superman. And some of this might go into with Superman in Man of Tomorrow coming up, so that some amount of setup, especially since Brainiac will be the main villain, I think would fit in with some of the Supergirl narrative that you see. But right off the bat, even here, and I'm not sure, I want to say Chuck Dixon, but I think there was some article of someone saying it looks like it was filmed through a piss filter. So there is this sort of amber color. There are other colors, but the default seems to be that. Now, I'm just taking screenshots from it, and I'm changing it up with my own little drawings here of He-Man and Supergirl. And they both have a glow about them for a bit of separation and whatnot. So you can't judge it on the image I'm presenting here, but it is a point to be made that there is this filter through which you see the film. And quite a bit of the action even is obscured. So anyway, not sure, but one would suspect that this image of Superman sending a message to Supergirl might be one of the new bit of footage that they added into it. So here we go. Some of the elements that can show off what they did with their CGI stuff, where you have what I assume is Krypton. And so you go, oh, this spectacular view and something of the fantastic of an alien world and all that. And when I first, there was a bit of this in some of the earlier teasers and maybe the first trailer, I forget. But I thought, oh, maybe this is Brainiac taking Kandor. And some of that I wondered if this insinuates maybe they'll combine the story where Supergirl actually was in Kandor, and that it was Kandor that survived Krypton and then Brainiac, which then might mean her parents are still alive if they do it like that. They've already changed a good bit of Superman and Supergirl lore. Yeah, so What's to stop him from that? Now, sometimes it's like the animated series of the Superman cartoon in the 90s. They did that with Brainiac, where instead of being an alien from the planet Colo, he was an AI entity of Krypton. And it really kind of worked for the narrative that they crafted. So maybe combining all the story to kind of streamline it a bit, that Brainiac had something to do with the destruction of Supergirl's home that had, managed to survive the ultimate destruction of Krypton. I don't know. Or this is just the end of Krypton. I don't know how they're going, what it could mean, but I always thought of introducing Supergirl into a Superman movie could work in particular when you introduce Brainiac, because there's a lot of room there for establishing that Supergirl would know who Brainiac is and what he's about. And, it's an opportunity for that. The only other option would be the Phantom Zone criminals, Zod in particular. But anyway, perhaps they'll pursue something of that nature, that some amount of teases for Man of Tomorrow will be in the Supergirl film. And, you're going to want to do that since you're pursuing this shared universe thing. But that's the kind of way to do it, where there's nods and hints at other aspects that you have to navigate, that doesn't take away from your core plot of your singular film. But rather than flood the whole movie with guest stars of Justice League members and stuff like that, which is what I went to great lengths to hinder Superman, even though Mr. Terrific was probably the most popular character out of the movie, but it takes away from Superman. And I don't think it was necessary. He could have, saved him for an actual Justice League movie, But anyway, with Supergirl, she'll probably get more of the movie that's about her than Superman did, oddly enough, with only like Lobo showing up, and like I said, they probably did more scenes of him and that sort of thing. But anyway, here is this scene of an alien world, and I guess if it's Krypton dying, all the lights are off or something. I don't know. It doesn't look all that spectacular, and I'm assuming it is Krypton. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else. But the whole thing takes place on alien worlds and stuff like that. So I don't think there's going to be much of Earth, if any, in the Supergirl movie. So more, spectacular space scenes, and here she is in her RV, I guess, flying around. But it's, it's like the ship from Spaceballs, but ultimately it's muted, drab stuff. It's not as desaturated as Snyder did, which I thought was a bad choice. Certainly it's perfect for Batman, but not for Superman. But I don't know, it's what he did. But here there's, the bright moments and stuff like that, and yet it's still somehow muted. Of course, it's not a great shot of it, but it's a spaceship taking off, and it's just like, so. And of course, you've seen a lot of spaceships in movies and whatnot. But ultimately, one of the worst parts is the villain. He just looks like an idiot, and you can't hear much, but his face is covered in these push pins and whatnot. And I don't know, some sort of exoskeleton suit, I guess, or whatever. The actual villain in the comic book that the story is based on was just some redheaded guy with a beard. But I guess because they don't like redheaded people in Hollywood anymore, maybe that's why, shave it off. I don't know. And they thought this look would be more intimidating. Not a great villain. Maybe the performance will, win me over, but I don't know. It's already established him as pretty nasty because he attacks poor Crypto, a little cute puppy dog, and everybody's going to hate him. So certainly that'll be established. But as far as an interesting villain or anything like that, nah, not really. Here we go. Some actions, and well, I mean, there is a fire, so but still, well, that particular amber filter over the scene. I don't know who's who, of course. I guess it's one of the villain's guys, or maybe him himself. I don't think so. I think it's that Mohawk guy that was. It might be this dude here. Yeah, in a fight with. I don't know. That's not Supergirl, but this might be the scene where the girl's father was fighting, but the main leader killed him, so I don't think it was this. So I don't know. But ultimately, there's not a whole lot of scenes. You've got flashback scenes of what I assume is Krypton, and then the rest is this bar that they go to. There's Supergirl's RV, and that's about. It doesn't show off a whole lot. I mean, in the story, they went to several planets, but here you still got some of the amber there, but she's burning it away with her heat vision, and I got Supergirl in the way. But that's Supergirl there in her, sort of grunge Kurt Cobain outfit, and she's shooting at He-Man here, but anyway, but still, it's. I mean, look, it's the blast of the heat vision, so I guess, and then we're back into the dull color scheme of it, where looks like she's saving the girl from being impaled by a spear, I guess. And there you go. And then finally, look, it's Lobo. Yeah, Jason Momoa finally gets into the role, and it's. Yeah, you can barely tell. I mean, he's all painted white like Lobo is, but you can barely see him. So maybe now, granted, seeing him on the big screen will probably be a lot better. One can hope, but yeah, I don't know. So we move on to He-Man. Well, you still see some of the same things, but it does have more iconic images of the Masters of the Universe world. And there's Castle Grayskull, and it looks cool, and all that stuff. So it's got a lot more going for it than Supergirl. The only thing recognizable is Supergirl herself, Lobo that you can barely see, Superman makes his cameo, and of course Crypto the dog, but he gets hurt, so he's out of action. So, and some boring spaceships and stuff like that. So it's just going to be a tough road to travel for a Supergirl here. So, but the spectacular scenes that are supposed to wow you and all that still looks like kind of not so impressive CGI overall. It looks real enough and all that, but I mean, it's just, I don't know, it just should be more vibrant. But by comparison to Supergirl, I think they did a better job of it. So here you have a battle of when Skeletor conquers Eternia and all that more. This one's probably even more spectacular, this arena being destroyed and attacked and stuff like that, and you got your statues and all that. And in the contrast of the blue skies, it goes a little further, and there's somewhat more detail to it. So more points for Masters of the Universe than Supergirl. And again, more villains that are classic to the lore of Masters of the Universe, and so Trapjaw shows up and all that stuff. Close enough to what the character's supposed to look like. So all that's good, and it's just Masters of the Universe just has more of it to show off. They didn't utilize enough of DC lore and whatnot in the Supergirl movie. But if they'd have been better off, it's not like the villain in it is a classic Supergirl villain or anything like that. But they just made him look so stupid. And but maybe the performance wins over, So like Castle Grayskull, you get things like that. And then, of course, more of the iconic image. He-Man does the Eye of the Power business with his sword and all that. And, of course, that's going to be a high point of imagery in the film, and gets some amount of excitement out of the trailer. This one is probably the best damn shot of the whole thing. Grayskull, it looks like Grayskull and everything, but Snake Mountain. And then despite the filter that's still very much there, Snake Mountain's not putting up with that. It's going to burn right through it. And you get imagery in here that's akin to the paintings that Earl Norham did for Masters of the Universe, for a lot of the promos and some of the artwork on the packaging for the toys and stuff like that. And it just looks great. This is really good, and could use some more vibrancy, but again, the filter. And so, but then again, on screen, probably will look really awesome. It looks really great, provided the movie spends more time on Eternia than on Earth in Prince Adam's cubicle at work. So when it comes to the villains, there's no contest. And despite people who just don't like Jared Leto for being weird, I guess, but he's winning here. I mean, that's great makeup on Jared. Obviously, in this case, the CGI skull is the best way to go, and he just looks like Skeletor. This is really good, and of course, this is the main villain of the Masters of the Universe mythos, and this is going to beat Supergirl all the time. I mean, and certainly the Battle of the Trailers, you've got more iconic scenes from the lore than what Supergirl has. And here you go. You've got Skeletor walking on the scene, looking like, Skeletor. So Master of the Universe fans are getting a lot more of what they want in the trailer. So between the two, He-Man wins on several points of what the trailer offers, and poor Supergirl is pretty much on her own. They throw in Lobo to help, but you can barely see him. Superman's on a little TV screen, and they've saddled her with a ridiculous villain, and she probably could have kicked his ass, but she was too drunk to save her dog. And so there he goes, the plot of the movie. Meanwhile, He-Man has got to return home, save his world from the tyranny of Skeletor, and reclaim his birthright. It's just a better story. I mean, it's just, it is. It's got problems with it. I don't care for the Earth stuff and all that, but, what are you going to do? So there you have it. Both movies might stink in some ways or another. There are certain things about them that have me, a little troubled about them. The Supergirl was the one I'm more interested in because I'm more of a DC Comics fan than the He-Man stuff. But just objectively looking at the two, odds are the Masters of the Universe movie will do much better than Supergirl will. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And as far as, already trying to head off backlash by claiming it's some sort of misogyny or whatnot, even the actor playing He-Man got some criticism on his appearance. He said he wasn't bulked up enough. He's not muscle-bound as much as He-Man is expected to be. And I guess they're referring to the actual toys. I mean, those toys were originally supposed to be a line of toys based on Conan the Barbarian. but they thought the movie was too violent, and they were right for little kids and stuff. So they made their own toy line and Mythos and whatnot for Masters of the Universe. And instead of Conan, you got He-Man. And of course, you see those. At least the way they looked originally, those toys, they're all roided up. Everybody, Skeletor, He-Man, Trapjaw, everything except for Teela. She wasn't so much roided, but the men, yeah, they all were. And so this guy, he's in great shape and everything, but he doesn't look like Schwarzenegger in his prime and stuff like that. And I guess they were upset that he didn't bulk up to that point. So you see, if you don't measure up to the standards that fans of a certain character, story, or what have you, they're going to at least mention it, even though they still might enjoy the movie for what it is and that sort of thing. So this business of, gee, it's tough to be a woman in this industry. Well, it's not the genre that most women gravitate to as far as superheroes and stuff like that. They do have their female fans, but they're outnumbered by their male counterparts and that sort of thing. Sure. But the idea that the movie fails only because of misogyny that's a ridiculous argument and won't serve anyone well. And to suddenly drop that out there. But I call it the rinse, lather, repeat promos responses that don't really promote the movie at all. If the idea is you're going to shame people into seats, it doesn't work. It's been tried for years now, all the way back to Ghostbusters 2016 and stuff like that. No. And if anything, this kind of it chases people away, and I just won't even give it a chance at all then, that kind of thing, when you insult them preemptively like that. It's not smart, but it's just something you hear all the time, and at this point people get tired of that. But the argument in and of itself that it's more unfair, it's like no one criticizes yeah, they do. They don't think they measure up to what the role is. And there you go. You've got the He-Man actor being criticized for not being big enough to be, He-Man. So there you go. Is the movie any good? Is it entertaining? Is it at least fun? Then you got a winner. You got a shot. But all this other stuff, I'd steer clear of that. There's no patience for it, not anymore. So anyway, there you go. A tale of two trailers. And I guess it's Masters of the Universe for the win.